Welcome back, YouTube. Sensei Domino here. Welcome to the Spine Ticks After Party. Got some great stuff to share with you tonight. I have a contest win from Yoda Vintage Cards, some eBay pickups, and I'll also be showing another group of the 1979 Topps Baseball Starter Set. But let's go ahead and get started. So, Yoda Vintage Cards, or Guru, or Bipster, the man of many names, reached 1,400 subscribers. Congratulations. Very well deserved. He does so much for the community. He did a really cool giveaway where he would read something on an index card, and then he would put in the chat, say, hashtag something something something, and then if you happen to put in the correct answer at the right time, I mean, he'd say the seventh person to put this in or whatever, you win a prize. And he had a whole bunch of envelopes put out. He had small envelopes, he had large envelopes, and he'd allow you to choose, small envelope or large envelope. You didn't know what was in the envelopes. He didn't show you what was in the envelopes, but he sent those out. I was fortunate enough to win 4 different envelopes. There were 2 smalls and 2 large, and they came in earlier this week. And there's some really nice cards in here. So let me go ahead and show you those. We have a 1979 Roger Metzger. I am trying to build this set. I'm not sure if this is on my need list or whatever, but great looking condition for sure. So really happy to get that. Of course, I'm also trying to build the 1980 set. And here's a Pat Putnam. Again, I haven't checked to see if this was on my checklist for a card that I needed, but still fantastic condition. Here's another 1980 Larry Harlow. It's sort of a mix of a vintage, early 80s, and then some newer cards. This is a 1992 Topps Joe Carter with the Blue Jays. Of course, he had his greatest success with the Blue Jays, World Series winning home run. I think the line when he hit the home run was "Touch 'em all, Joe. You'll never hit a bigger one in your life," or something along those lines. Yeah, that gives you goosebumps. Even if you're not a fan of the Blue Jays, still a great call. Who was that? Joe Buck, or not sure who it was. Then I always like this set. This is a 1992 Action Pack, Louis Tiant. He had a fantastic pitching motion. If you haven't seen his pitching motion, check it out. Definitely unique. Great card. Now we're moving into the 2000s. There's a couple 2004s. We have Andrew Jones. Really nice player. Spent I think a season with the Texas Rangers at the end of his career. Fantastic defensive outfielder. Fantastic power hitter in general. Borderline Hall of Famer. I don't know if he'll get in. I know several people that think he deserves to be. I'm sort of on the fence. He was such a fantastic player, but really fell off. As somebody that followed baseball during the steroid era, it makes more sense for a player to just suddenly fall off and not be the same player that they used to be when they reach a certain age, as opposed to somebody 43 years old bashing 60 home runs, which isn't quite common sense sort of triggers when you see something like that. Like, is this really possible? Is he being aided by something? So I mean, I'll give Andrew Jones that, the fact that he fell off so fast so quickly. You have very little doubt that he did it, the right way. So, maybe that helps towards his Hall of Fame candidacy. But he was, in his prime, he was one of the greatest players in the game for sure. All right, next, this is also from the same set. What was this? 2003, 2004. Sorry, 2004 tops, and this is a former Ranger manager, Buck Showalter. I did enjoy Buck Showalter while he was here. And I don't have any Buck Showalter cards with the Rangers, so this is a great pickup. All right, next, we have another former Ranger. On this card, he's with the Orioles. And this is 2017, and I do like heritage and archives and stuff like that. But this is the 82 design. This is Chris Davis, or as he was sometimes called, Crash Davis, based on the Kevin Costner character from Bull Durham. And we have another Chris Davis, and I believe that he spent some time with the Rangers at the end of his career. I'm not sure if he actually, I think he might have been like a training camp, spring training invitee. I'm not sure if he made the roster, but he didn't spend much time on the team. If he did, he might have spent like a month with the team before he got released, but it's the other Chris Davis. And this is 2017. I don't know if this is heritage or archives, but this is the 1960 design, and it's my favorite design of the 60s. Great card. And we have another one from that same set, Evan Longoria, borderline Hall of Famer. Great career. And then moving to 2019, I actually have very few cards of this individual since I'm not all that much of a modern collector, outside of picking up rookie cards here and there. But Christian Yelich, he is a really nice player. So this is cool to get. Probably my first Christian Yelich card. And the last one, this is, I think this is 2019. You almost need a magnifying glass with some of the print on these cards these days. But this is the 1958 design. It's Byron Buxton. He's a pretty exciting player to watch. I don't know if you can read that. I think it says 2019. Great card. Love the pink background on that. That's pretty cool. Anyway, that's the cards from Guru's 1,400 subscriber giveaway. If you are not subscribed to Yoda Vintage Cards, definitely go check out his channel. Amazing channel. Amazing collection. I really enjoy watching his content. He does so much for the community, whether it's community shout outs or, just channels, just channel meetups. He'll have a live or a stream, and he's always encouraging everybody to sub each other up, and just spreading the love of the hobby. Just amazing person. Definitely go check out his channel, sub him up. And again, congratulations, Guru, on your amazing achievement, 1,400 subscribers. That's fantastic. Really looking forward to seeing you hit that 1,500 subscribers very soon. All right, so next onto the eBay pickups, and man, I got all sorts of random stuff. As I've mentioned in the last couple videos, I've been doing a lot of searching for lots and stuff, looking for the bang for the buck, and I found some really cool lots over the last month or so, and sort of been just kind of going through them every week. This is another one that I picked up. This was actually an Astros lot. I think it was 1965 through junk wax, and there was a lot of vintage in it, so I decided to put a bid in on it, and I was fortunate enough to win. I didn't pay a whole lot for this lot, considering some of the vintage cards. I mean, there's no big names or anything like that, but there are quite a few vintage cards in here, quite a few, rookies and stuff like that in here. So it was kind of cool to pick up. There were a few cards that I haven't put in top loaders because, they're kind of junk wax, and one of them has a crease in it. I'll go ahead and show that. This is a 87 Donruss Nolan Ryan, and it does have a crease in it. So I did not put that in a top loader. And then we have 3 different 1992 Fleer Ultra. This was a cool set when it came out, but this is definitely right smack dab in the middle of junk wax. We have a Craig Biggio. So I will put these in a box and penny sleeve these, but definitely not top loaders. The Hall of Famer there. We got Jeff Bagwell. I guess this is technically his second year. I believe his rookie's 91. And then Kurt Schilling, borderline Hall of Famer, but he probably sabotaged his own candidacy by saying, "Take me off the ballot." So who knows? But he did have that legendary performance with the Red Sox, with the bloody sock and all that. Nice pitcher, a little outspoken. A cool card. And moving on to the rest of the lot. Go ahead and start with the vintage. We have a 1965 Walt Bond with the Colt 45s. This one's off center. It's got some corner wear, but no creases. Nice looking card. I like getting the cards with the Colt 45s logo. Anytime you get cards of franchises that are no longer around, it's kind of cool to see those. Moving on to 1966, Jim Gentile. I know he's a great TTM signer. I might have to send this out to him since I don't really have any plans to build the 66 set. Mostly because, there's some big cards in there when you consider, the Mickey Mantles and, Willie Mays and Roberto Clemente and Ernie Banks, and just a laundry list of cards that'll be fairly expensive. And, it's a pretty big task. Plus, we're not even talking about the high numbers where you're going to be paying a lot of money for them. So, just pick them up here and there when I can. And that goes for any of the cards from the 60s. If it's a bargain, there's no reason not to pick it up. I definitely love vintage. So I'm not really just going to focus on the sets that I'm actually trying to put together, which is basically the 70s. But here's another 1966. This one's borderline miscut, but definitely off center. Lee May. It's kind of diamond cut now that I'm looking at it as well. Little corner wear. But again, no creases. I don't think any of these vintage cards had creases. It's mostly just corner wear, and it's minor corner wear at that. Another 66, Jim Owens. Again, these are all Astros. Another 1966, rookie stars of Chuck Harrison and Sonny Jackson. Again, just kind of minor corner wear. Now, I've seen these backs with, this sort of brownish toning, and then you see backs that are much brighter. I don't know if that was what they looked like in the 66 set, if there were like 2 different tones of paper. But, I've always sort of thought that these were, aged and sort of discolored over time, whether it was, smoke or, just aging in general. But any of the collectors that were collecting this set when it first came out were the cards sort of this off-white, Or were they all originally, white? Like, let me see if I can show you some of these. Yeah, like the Jim Gentile, you look at that, and that's much brighter, than these other ones, which you can clearly see they're sort of like a brownish yellow, sort of off-white color. And so I'm not sure if there were like this was done on purpose or if this was just age. Always been curious about that. Anyway, here's a 1968 rookie stars. Tom Dukes and Alonzo Harris. This one's actually fairly sharp. It's a little off center. You can see some of the white right here. It's definitely off center right there. And again, these backs right here, this is sort of like a brownish off-white tone. I've seen these much brighter. So I'm not sure if that's based on age or not. Next, we have a 1969. And this is kind of a great card. There's actually two versions of this card. This one's the more common version. This is Don Clendenin with Houston. But he's also got another version where he's with the Expos. I don't remember if it says Montreal or if it actually says Expos. I don't remember. But that one's the more scarce one, more valuable one. But this is the Houston version. Nice player, too. All right, here's another 69. Rookies. Hal Gilson, Leon McFadden. And another rookies. I might have most of the rookies from the 69 set. Don Bryant, Steve Shea, or at least the Astros rookies. See, look at this. This is like a bright white. And then you see this one. Much more of an off-white look. You also see like different shades of pink. Again, I've always been curious about that with those. Since this was probably about 15 years before I started collecting, so wasn't around in these days. Here's another 1969 rookies. Tom Griffin, Skip Gwynn, maybe. Skip Gwynn, I'll go with that. Again, this is a much brighter background. And this actually might be a high number, 614. I'm pretty sure that's a high number. So it was kind of cool to get a high number in this lot, since those are a little harder to come by. Moving on to 1970. Jesus Alou. One of the Alou brothers. Definitely miscut on the back. The front doesn't look horrible. It's off center, but not as miscut as this. But again, just some corner wear, centering, no creases. Here's a 1970 Houston Astros team card. Minor corner wear, little off center. Nice card. Here's the back. I see some of the names on the back. So we got Rusty Staub, Joe Morgan, Jim Wynn, Barry Durker. Yeah, some nice. Looks like Mike Cuellar. Actually, I guess that's yearly. Oh, that might, yeah, the team records, sorry. That's the team records. So yeah, some pretty nice names playing for the Astros, considering they had only been around for, a half a decade at this point. All right, another 1970. This the 70 Astros rookie stars, John Mayberry and Bob Watkins. Nice looking card, not too bad. Minor corner wear. Another Astros rookie stars from 1970, Keith Lampard and Scipio Spinks. I think that's how you say it. There are a couple of Scipio Spinks cards in this lot. So definitely has a fisheye right there in the Keith. But otherwise, this is pretty sharp. Look at those corners. Almost packed fresh. Nice looking card. Centering isn't bad at all either. All right, next, moving on to 1971. And this is a Ken Forsch, Larry Howard. Ken Forsch was a pretty nice pitcher. Brother Bob played in the majors as well. And you know those 70s cards. I am slowly trying to build that setup. It does have high numbers, so that's going to be a long-term goal, obviously, and also trying to build up the 71 set. So anytime I can pick up some of these, especially these black border cards with fairly sharp corners, just minor corner wear, although the centering's pretty bad. Definitely excited to get these. Here's another 71 rookie stars, Buddy Harris and Roger Metzger. This has a little bit more corner wear. There's a couple touches on the edge. But, this is almost par for the course with these black border cards from this era. So I don't mind that. A little bit of a stain of some kind right there. But again, not bad. Moving on to 72. We have Scipio Spinks. And these corners are fairly sharp. Not perfect. Centering's a little off. Much worse on the back, it looks like. This is right up there with my favorite sets of the 70s. I just love this design. It just screams, 70s to me. The 72 set and the 75 got to be my top two, and it's more like a 1 and a 1A. It's hard, depending on the week, depending on the day. I might say 75, I might say 72. I usually lean towards 72 over the 75, but I like them almost equally. And here's another 72 Astros team card. This one's got some touches of corner wear, little more than some of the other cards that we've seen. This one especially. Again, we have the team records. Now you're seeing Cesar Cedeno on there. But for the most part, the same names as the last time in 1970 that we saw. Right, moving on to 1973, there was one card in this one, Tommy Agee, and talk about a great image. I don't know if this is the right image for a baseball card, but I really like seeing it. That kind of puts you right in the action of the game from probably 1972, I would guess. This one does have a little bit of a printing defect right there where you can see some of the black roller or whatever. And you see that every once in a while on cards in this era. You'll see these little sort of roller marks. But it doesn't look bad. And again, I'm trying to build this set, so I'm not sure if this was a card that I need or not. But I'll have to check. It's in fairly good shape other than that little print defect right there. All right, moving into the 80s. And this one was kind of cool. I've always enjoyed, these sort of food issue cards, from this time period. I had a few of them. Definitely not this early on in the 80s, but still cool to get. 1984 Mother's Cookies, Nolan Ryan. Of course, I'm a huge Nolan Ryan fan, so this is cool. 1984. I like that they have this little line for autographs. Great card. Another set that I'm trying to build. So this was another one that I was happy to get. I don't think I have this card already. 1984 batting and pitching leaders, Jose Cruz and Nolan Ryan. There's the team checklist unmarked. And I do have 2 full sets of this, so this is more of a duplicate, but it's in really nice shape. Nolan Ryan. Super sharp. Of course, I love the 86 set because this was the first baseball set that I really, collected, first purchased, I guess. I did have the set at one point in time. I don't think it was an 86. I probably built it and completed it sometime in 88, 89 maybe. So I did have it at one point in time. I had many of the 86 Topps traded sets. I had that multiple times, and I have 2 of them now, I believe. But I always liked this card. And moving on to a couple 87 Nolan Ryans. Here's the Topps. I did show the Donruss with a crease earlier. This one's crease free, nice and sharp. And the Fleer, not the glossy, but just the regular Fleer. There are quite a few Nolan Ryan cards in here. None really vintage. Here's an 89. 89 was his first year with the Rangers. They had a Rangers issue in the traded set. Here's another 89. Craig Biggio rookie. Pretty big Biggio fan. He was fun to watch. So I don't mind getting another Biggio rookie. And I do have this set, but cool to get an extra. Jeff Bagwell, 1991 Donruss the Rookies rookie card. So yeah, that was a pretty cool lot. I don't think I paid a whole lot for this. I don't know the exact price, but I would guess under $15, probably maybe even closer to 10. I don't remember. I didn't look it up before I did the video, but I didn't pay a whole lot for that, so it was pretty cool. Pretty cool to win that. All right, next I have a few more baseball lots and stuff like that, but I wanted to show this football lot next. I think I paid $3 for this shipped, and these were shipped in penny sleeves, but they were basically shipped in a plain white envelope. So I don't know what condition these were in before they got shipped, but the envelope showed up in pretty nice shape, so I don't know that any of these were damaged en route. But there are several cards in here with creases. Almost a third of the cards have creases in it, but some of them are pretty nice, and it's kind of hard for me to find football card lots. I have no problems finding baseball card lots. Every once in a while I'll find basketball lots. I find very few hockey lots. The biggest one that I've seen I ended up purchasing, and I showed that on the Overtime Hockey Card Show when I first got it. I haven't showed it on my own channel. I'll be showing that in a couple weeks, so if you haven't seen it there, I'll be showing it here pretty soon. But yeah, it's sort of like beggars can't be choosers on this stuff. If you find a good deal, you kind of have to pick it up, because there's just not a whole lot of these lots that are out there. But the seller did add this in kind of as an extra. This is definitely a modern card. This is a Topps Fire. This is Kadeem Carey. I think this is a rookie card. This is from 2014. it's a pretty cool image. I mean, if you like, the artistic sort of backgrounds as opposed to, a football field, it is a pretty cool looking card. And always appreciative when, sellers throw in extras and stuff. But on to the 1972. And I want to say this was a 17 card lot. Some of them are better than others. This is Bob Trumpy. This one's off center but fairly sharp. I do like this design with they have the up and down, and then they have the sideways glorious, Sith likes to say, like this. Irv Good. And again, this one's fairly sharp. So, there were some nice cards in this lot. And again, I think this was like $3 shipped, so you can't really go wrong. Although, as I said, there are some cards with some pretty nasty creases in them. There are still some very nice cards in here that I can kind of put away and peck away at some of these sets and stuff. Bruce Gossett. Again, fairly sharp card. I just love some of the imagery on these cards. This is Ernie Kellerman. A little bit more corner wear than the ones that I've shown previously, but it's still not bad. This would be, certainly be acceptable. I'm okay with cards for the most part up to EX, maybe even VG this early in the 70s. So this is certainly acceptable. We have Pete Bethard. This one's really sharp. A little off center. Next we have Gary Garrison. Super sharp corners. Centering's pretty nice. It's a great card. Again, nobody of any real significance in this lot. It was just more, like a bulk card buy, I guess. 17 cards for a couple bucks, Why not? If you could get a pack of commons from 1972, let's just say it had like 10 cards or something in it, and, they were in this condition, and you paid $3 for it, would you have a problem with it? I wouldn't, so... Mike Garrett, again, pretty sharp corners. I think we're getting close to the spot where we are looking at some of the little bit of damage on the cards until we get to the creases. We have this one right here. This is Bill Nelson. I don't know if you can see it, but there's like a smudge or something. It's like right here, but it's not really showing up. Even the glare is not really picking it up. There's some sort of like smudge. It almost looks like somebody took an eraser and just did this. I don't think this card was written on or anything. I don't even know if that might be like a factory defect or something. I guess there you can barely see it. The shadow of it or something, and then the centering's a little off, but it is a fairly sharp card. This corner's a little dinged. That might actually happen in shipping. This one's a little dinged as well, but I don't know. Not perfect, but this would be in that VG EX range I'd be okay with. This one has a smudge as well. Jim Turner. Smudge right here. And I guess there is a crease, or a wrinkle, I guess, right here as well. You can kind of see that a little better than the smudge anyway. This is probably one of the biggest names in the lot. I believe he's a Hall of Famer. Emmett Thomas. In fact, I'm pretty sure he's a Hall of Famer. There's a crease in this, though. Let me find it. Actually, I don't think there's a crease in it. There is a nasty corner. But I don't think there's a crease in it. There's another rough corner. So yeah, this might be the biggest card in there. There's another Hall of Famer in here, but it's got a crease. This one's got a wrinkle. It's not too bad. Paul Robinson right here. It's more like a wrinkle. Did I show this card already? Let me see. Yeah, I did. That's funny. I just noticed that there were duplicates. So we got two Bill Nelsons. Thought that card looked familiar. This one, I don't see a crease. It's got a rough corner in the center. He's a little rough. But I don't see a crease. The lighting's not the best in here. I have sort of these spotlight lights, and it gives shadows, and it's hard for me to see some defects and stuff occasionally. Yeah, there's the Bill Nelson. All right, yeah. Now we're getting into the sort of deeper creases. You have J.D. Hill, and that one's just got like a spider crease right across the card. So yeah, you'll be able to see these creases fairly easily from this point forward. We have Ken Willard. Again, there's a crease right there. There's the other Hall of Famer, but this has a crease in it, Buck Buchanan. It's got a crease right there. Ding corner. And we have two more. We have Sam Brunelli. This one again's got a crease. But for $3, and I would say 7 of them are really nice cards. I don't mind that. And the last one, and this one's more like a wrinkle than a crease. Bo Scott. And it's right there. It's kind of more like a wrinkle, I guess. But definitely noticeable. I don't think you can feel it on the back. It's kind of hard through the penny sleeve, but I don't remember being able to feel that on the back. You can feel it on the front. There we go. So that was a pretty cool lot to find for the price. All right, next. Really excited to get this. This was one of my greatest pickups over the last couple weeks. No really big names, but the condition is fantastic. I think this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so it's 8 cards, 1955 Bowman baseball. Really excited to get this. This was actually not a lot. This was an individual selling singles, and he combined shipping. So a lot of these were ending at reasonable prices, cheap in a lot of cases, where I basically won each of these cards for probably between $1 and $3. And I think commons from this set, in the Beckett, if you still care about Beckett, they book for like $12. So, to get one of these cards for like $1, that you're basically paying 10% of book, high book. But these are in fantastic shape. I've always loved this set. And no real big names. There's some notable names. There's actually a card that's nice, TTM Fuel. There are a few rookies, but let's go ahead and get started. This is Lou Kretlow. I just love the look of these cards with the old school TV set. Just minor corner wear. That's it. Very minor corner wear. These cards are gorgeous, and you don't even see where you'll kind of see like the the darkening little wax stains and stuff on the back of these. These cards are just gorgeous. So I was really happy to pick up a few of these. And if I wasn't on a budget, I probably could have bid on a lot more. But I was sort of picky on the ones that I did pick up. Here's Sam Melly. And again, just minor touches. There's actually a couple cards in here that almost look pack fresh, which is crazy. And this one's cool to get. If you are a TTM or you are familiar, very familiar with this guy's brother. His brother was a former MVP, but this individual didn't really have a very long career, but he is the brother of a TTM legend. And this is Billy Shantz. Billy Shantz's rookie card. This corner is fairly sharp. This one's just got a touch. This one's fairly sharp. This one's probably the worst corner. But just a gorgeous looking card. And the centering is really nice on this. Billy Shantz rookie card. Of course, his brother's Bobby Shantz. Former MVP, TTM legend. Just an amazing person. Now this card just looks pack fresh. Just a gorgeous looking card. Not a notable name. This is Danny O'Connell. But look at this. I mean, I can't find much. This one's got a touch. And every one of the other corners is pretty sharp. This one might be a little bit touched up, but these two, just razor sharp. This is 1955 Bowman, man. This is great. Just thrilled to find these cards. All right, next, this is another nice card. This is Royce Lint rookie card. Didn't have a very long career. But again, razor sharp corners. Here's the back. Just a gorgeous looking card. Next, this one does have a minor wrinkle in it. This is Hal Rice. Pretty cool image, but there is a little bit of a wrinkle. Somewhere in, there it is, right there. But otherwise, really sharp corners. Sorry about the focus. Aside for that wrinkle, this is a really nice card. All right, these last two are the two that I'm most excited to get. Really happy to win these, especially for what I paid for them. Not very valuable cards, but gorgeous cards and two cards that I'm excited to get into my collection. First, we have a Frank Sullivan rookie card. Frank Sullivan was a pretty good pitcher. But what I know him mostly for is Norman Rockwell did a artwork that was entitled The Rookie. And it has Ted Williams on it. It has several other Boston Red Sox players in it, one of which was Frank Sullivan. Billy Goodman's also in there. And I can't think of who else is on there, but one of my sort of I wouldn't call it a goal, but I guess one of the things that I would like to do is get a playing days card of everybody from that image by Norman Rockwell called The Rookie, because I do have the image of that hanging up on my wall, and have always loved that artwork, and I actually would love to get the original magazine that was featured on the cover. but I haven't found one that I'm comfortable picking up. It's not very expensive. It's like 50, $60. But I haven't found a good copy for 50, $60. So, hopefully at some point I will get that. But really happy to get the Frank Sullivan rookie card, and I can check him off the list because I'm definitely happy having his Bowman rookie. And the last one, and I'm not sure I'm going to send this out as a TTM, but this is an absolute TTM legend. He did sort of lecture me about his cards going for $120 in private auction. Uh, but he is a fantastic TTM signer, even if I don't buy that his cards are going for that much. But yeah, I am talking about the great Vern Law. Fantastic pitcher and fantastic TTMer. And this is his 1955 Bowman, the earliest Vern Law I believe I have. This would look great signed. I just don't know if I want to send to him again after he lectured me. And so, I mean, he signed my cards and signed my index card and gave me just a wall of inscriptions. Just an amazing person. I just don't know if I want to bug him again for some more autographs. I know people send to him quite a bit, so really happy to get that. And that's the 8-card lot. Two biggest cards being the Frank Sullivan and the Vern Law, but really happy to get those. All right, next, you know me, I like to find lots of rookie cards of players that I'm a fan of. And although this isn't anywhere close to the lot of Mike Modano's, that's kind of become a running joke with some people, or the Jeremy Roenick's. This is still eight of the exact same card of the exact same rookie of a Hall of Fame football player, and was really excited to get this. This is definitely junk wax. This is 1988 Topps, but I was always a big fan of Kevin Green, so I decided to pick this up. 8 Kevin Green rookies. I think I have 2 in my collection already, so 10 Kevin Green rookies. I'll show the back of the last card, but these are all fairly well centered, super sharp, look pack fresh. I think the last one might have a little corner wear, but the rest of these are super sharp. Yeah, this one I think had some touches of corner wear. Black spots. But yeah, there's the back. So yeah, he spent a little bit of time in WCW. I remember enjoying watching him on there as well. I think Reggie White was on there for a little bit as well. That was a good time in wrestling. I enjoyed that. They even had a feud where they had Karl Malone versus Dennis Rodman during that time period, which I thought was pretty cool as well. But yeah, happy to get those Kevin Greens. All right, here are a few singles that I picked up. Not too many. I'll go ahead and start with the oldest one. Picked up a Bobby Mercer rookie. I made a comment a couple weeks ago that it seems like all these starter lots that I'm getting, the Bobby Mercer's got a crease in it. Which, I would say like 3 or 4 of the Bobby Mercers that I've had in these starter lots have creases in them. So I was like, what do people have against Bobby Mercer? And I just decided to look up his rookie card, and I think I paid $2 for this, so why not? Picked up a Bobby Mercer rookie. He was a nice player. 1967 Topps. And then these were all 3 singles from the same seller, but they were all, sold as singles. Picked up a 1972 Bill Freehan. I am a big fan of Bill Freehan, borderline Hall of Famer in my mind. And Ryan at History Through Cards did a video on Bill Freehan where he was arguing that Bill Freehan very well might have been the greatest catcher of the 1960s. And it's a very compelling video, and it makes a great argument, and I have a hard time arguing against it. I mean, he many time All-Star. He was a good defensive catcher. He was a good offensive catcher. Kind of an all-around catcher. And it was kind of in between the era. Where you had Yogi Berra and some of the players from the 50s, early 60s until you got to your Johnny Benches and some of the catchers that were stars in the 70s. But yeah, Bill Freehan in the 60s, you could make a very strong case that he was the best catcher of the 60s. And so really cool to get a nice copy of this 72. Next, I picked up a 1973 all-time batting leader, Ty Cobb. Didn't have this card. Slowly building up that set. So picked this up. A little off center on the back, but the centering in the 73s is atrocious. So as long as the front doesn't look bad, I don't mind too much. And picked up an All-Star from 1974. The potential future Hall of Famer Dick Allen, and then of course Hank Aaron, who's arguably a top 5 player all time. And the back's a puzzle. A great looking card, great centering, very sharp corners. These are nice examples. This one might have a little bit of a touch, but razor sharp on this side. Especially this one. But great card. You can never have too many Hank Aaron's in your collection. All right, so this is sort of a tease. I've sort of got these organized for future videos, but this right here, and I've got 2 more lots of cards coming in the mail, plus what I'm going to show today. These are all autograph cards that I have picked up from the autograph den over the last couple weeks. And again, I got a couple more that are coming in, and I actually just won a few index cards autographs. So I'm going to be showing quite a few autographs over the next couple weeks. Today, I'm just going to be showing the football because I don't have too many footballs, and I don't have any that are on the way. So I just wanted to. It felt like a good time to show these autographs. Some of them are, busts. Some of the autographs that I picked up across multiple sports are busts, but they were notable players from that they might have had hype or something like that, and I was. I bought into the hype even though they busted, or they had a notable career. Maybe a short, stretch of stardom, I guess you could say, and then just a handful of Hall of Famers, but not too many because I was more bargain shopping than anything. This was more quantity than quality, I guess, of a purchase. I mean, I want to say there's like 130 autographs or something, which sounds absurd. But yeah, like 130 or something autographs that I'm going to be showing over the next couple weeks. But today I'm only going to be showing 6 football autographs. And we'll start with Dan McGuire. He had quite a bit of hype. He is, of course, Mark McGuire, the baseball player's brother. And some of his hype might have been because of his brother. But yeah, he didn't quite pan out. I always thought the sort of tinted visor was kind of cool. You hadn't seen too many players up to this point with the tinted visor, especially quarterbacks. All right, next. This was a pretty nice running back for a couple years. This is a 2004, so I guess the second year card. But I've been doing fantasy football for a long time, and I remember this guy was a stud running back for about 2 or 3 years. So I saw this and I was like, you know what, why not? This is Dominic Davis. And as a rookie, he was a 1,000-yard back. so it was a pretty good receiver. 47 receptions. So I mean, he was a pretty nice back early on in his career. And of course, we know these days the shelf life of the running back is probably like 2, 3 years. So yeah, I have no problems picking up this Dominic Davis. Not a Hall of Famer or even close, but he was a nice player for a short stretch for sure. All right, talk about another guy that had some ridiculous hype early in the junk wax. Well, not early in the junk wax, but early in the '90s junk wax era. But we've got a second year Jeff George, and yeah, he had a lot of hype coming out of college. Did not quite live up to it. I think he might have been a Pro Bowler a couple times, but definitely didn't turn into an all-time great. His rookie year, 16 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. So it even says on the bottom, the most ballyhooed rookie quarterback since John Elway. So that says quite a bit because John Elway had a lot of hype back in 1984, from refusing to play for the Baltimore Colts to, just the showdowns that he had in the fourth quarter comebacks, throughout the 80s. But, yeah. But cool, Jeff George. All right, another guy that had several good seasons early in his career as a receiver for Brett Favre in the Green Bay Packers. This is a sort of a college card by Hit. This is what year? 2002. Hit. This is a Javon Walker rookie signed. And Javon Walker was a pretty nice player for, I don't know, maybe 5 years or so. Stats at Florida State, if it'll focus. Definitely a nice player for a couple years. All right, next. This is an offensive lineman, really good offensive lineman. Borderline Hall of Famer, I would say. But one of the things I remember about this is there is a ESPN 30 for 30 on the 1984 NFL draft called From Elway to Marino. And it talks about, basically the entire 1984 draft and how it unfolded through the eyes of John Elway and Dan Marino's agent. And it's a very interesting 30 for 30. But there was a comment that was on there talking about the Raiders pick during that draft, and they ended up drafting Don Mosbar, who was this autograph right here. And one of the people that worked in the office for the Raiders said that they for most of Don Mosbar's career, they had a running joke where they called him Dan Mosbar because they passed on drafting Dan Marino and instead drafted Don Mosbar. And that sort of quote has always stood out to me, Dan Mosbar. But he was a fantastic player. I mean, he's not Dan Marino. I mean, come on. They did miss on that, but they didn't pick a bust or anything like that. Don Mosbar was a fantastic center. And so kind of cool to get his autograph. But if you haven't checked out that 30 for 30, definitely check it out. It's well worth your time. And you get to hear the story behind the early career of Dan Marino and John Elway. All right, this last one, and this is actually the second autograph I've picked up from this individual. I believe he's still alive, but he's not doing very well, and he doesn't do TTMs anymore, although he was a prolific TTM signer for many years that I wasn't collecting. So I'm happy to pick this up. This is also the second one that I've picked up that is inscribed to somebody else. I don't remember who the first one was inscribed to, but it's an 8x10. This one is a 1990 Swell Pro Football Hall of Fame card. And this one is inscribed to Allen, but it is Hall of Famer Raymond Berry. So couldn't pass this up for a couple bucks. I don't care if it says to Allen. I mean, I guess I do. I mean, I prefer that it didn't have, an inscription to somebody, or at the very least, I wouldn't mind if it said to Tony. But you know, I don't mind picking these up for Hall of Famers and stuff like that, just to get them in the collection, regardless of who they're inscribed to. This was definitely one of the bigger ones that I picked up. Raymond Barry, great card. All right, so that's all of the pickups that I'll be showing this week. We just hit an hour, so I will be showing. Maybe I'll get through 150, maybe 200 cards of the 1979 Topps Baseball Starter Set. Again, as I've been doing, each time I show one of these starter sets, I'll show the backs of the first couple cards, and then, unless it's a notable player, I'll just show the fronts to try to speed this up. We have Tom Hume. And I'm not going to go through too much of the condition unless it's just a really nasty looking card. Try to speed this up. Tom Hume. All right, next we have Braves team card with Bobby Cox. Of course, Bobby Cox is a Hall of Famer for his time with the 90s Braves. I believe that was his first stint with the team. I don't think he coached them for 20 years. Pretty sure he didn't. This is Larry Sorensen. Some of these cards are pretty sharp, which is nice. Next we have Steve Swisher. From what I understand, this is Nick Swisher's dad. Willie Montanez. Floyd Bannister. Little off center. Laravel Blanks. Ralph Garr. Bob Robertson. I think I dinged that corner. Oops. Hate when I do that. All right, this is a great TTM signer, Dyer Miller. Larry Harlow. John Matlack on the Rangers. That's a nice card. Milt May. Jose Cardinal. Wayne Garrett. Severely miscut. Danny Goodwin. Another fairly off center card. In fact, this one has some like white out or something on the back. No telling. Might have to replace that one. Lynn McLaughlin. Got the Ivy from Wrigley Field. Mike Tyson. Of course, great name. The original Mike Tyson, I guess. Cecil Cooper. Big fan of Cecil Cooper. He does do TTMs I'd love to send him one day. Very nice player. Next we have Pedro Bourbon. Art Howe. Yeah, this one's got some Freddy Krueger spider streaks all the way across. But he has a great TTM signer. Gonna have to replace this one though. Of course, Art Howe was the manager of those Moneyball A's. Speaking of the A's, Jack McKeon, great manager. With the A's right here, but this one is marked. So they're going to have to replace this one. A cool card. Next we have Joe Coleman. Next we have Hall of Famer George Brett. I did already have this card in my collection, so this wasn't part of the lot. Of course, his rookie 75. This is 79, so earlier on in his career, I guess. A great card. All right, let me move these out of the way. Get another stack. At the end of this stack, there's actually a lot of cards that I picked up. I think it was like 6 or 7 cards that I didn't have for this set that I saw them all in one lot and decided to pick up. But we'll get to those in a minute. Moving on to Mickey Mailer. I do think he signs. I've seen his signature quite a bit, but I'm not sure if he's still signing or not. Next we have Chet Lemon. I was a pretty big fan of his. He's a nice player for sure. Next we have Craig Swan. Great image in the background. I love that. Next we have Chris Chambliss. Pretty nice player. Bobby Thompson. Vic Harris. Ron Jackson. This is another nice TTMer. Dave Roberts. Not the manager Dave Roberts, but third base / catcher Dave Roberts. Ed Glynn. That's kind of an interesting background. I mean, the infield dirt almost looks like green, but it gives kind of a cool image to the card. Jerry Royster. Next we have Tug McGraw. Of course, he's the father of Tim McGraw. Really nice pitcher. Go ahead and show the back of this. Next, another really nice player. It's too bad that he's only remembered for one moment, although it was definitely a doozy of a moment, I guess. But Bill Buckner. Fantastic player, great hitter. And, everybody remembers him for the ball that went between his legs in the World Series. And that didn't even really cost the Red Sox the World Series. They still had to play another game. But they didn't win that other game. So he ended up being the sort of the scapegoat. And, the curse continued for a few more years. But it was great to see that Bill Buckner was forgiven after they won the World Series. But yeah, they treated him like dirt in Boston for many, many years. Undeserving. I mean, let's be honest. He was beat up. He could barely move. He should have been replaced as a defensive replacement that late in the game. So, I put that on the manager as much as anything. Doug Rao. But that really could have happened to anybody. Jim Wright. And I was certainly going for the Red Sox that year, by the way, for the record. Gary Templeton. Nice player. Wayne Nordhagen. That's the second one I've dinged a corner. I should fire myself. Steve Renko. Another nice signer. Bill Bonham. I think this, no. I thought this was a rookie, but I guess not. Lee Mazzilli. Jerry Augustine. Dan Spillner. Amos Otis. Nice player. Tom Dixon. Mike Cubbage. Craig Scott. Gene Richards. Sparky Lyle, former Cy Young winner, former Texas Ranger. Juan Bernhardt. Dave Skaggs. Don Ossie. One of the original all or nothing hitters, Dave Kingman. Basically a home run or a strikeout. Very low average, but nice player, and definitely hit a ton of home runs, over 400. Nice player. Let's see. Career 232 batting average. At this point, he had 204 home runs. Yeah. Doesn't show the strikeouts on here, but I bet he had some pretty high numbers. But yeah, nice player. Jeff Holley. Kingman, based on the way he played, was sort of ahead of his time because there's a lot of players like that playing today. Lamar Johnson. Lance Routzon. Hopefully that's right. Ed Herman. Bill Campbell. Another nice player, Gorman Thomas. This was right pretty much when he started breaking out in his first year. Playing, well, I guess 75, he played 121 games, but this was his most games played. 32 home runs, 86 RBIs, so started coming into his own in 78. Paul Moskow. Rob Piccolo. Dale Murray. looks like he's hyperextended his knee. Look at that. Wow, that kind of looks painful. Got John Mayberry. And I believe, yeah, this is the John Mayberry that we saw his rookie card of earlier in that Astros lot. Speaking of the Astros, I love how this is working out. This is the second time it's worked out, parlayed to the next card like the A's earlier. We got the Astros with the Astrodome. Man, I've been at the Astrodome many times. It was definitely ahead of its time. Bill Verdon right here. I mean, they felt so strongly about the Astrodome. They told the whole team to go sit out in the parking lot so they could get a picture of the stadium. It's the eighth wonder of the world. Jerry Martin. Another great TTM signer, Phil Garner. Tommy Boggs. Dan Ford. Francisco Barrios. Gary Thomason. Jack Billingham. Not sure how to say this. Joe's Deb. Maybe. Joe's Deb. Yeah, I'll go with that. Doug Alt. Scott McGregor. Randy Stein. Dave Cash was a pretty nice player. Bill Plummer. Sergio Ferrer. Ivan DeJesus. Pretty nice player. I've talked about this guy, David Clyde. First overall pick in the draft by the Rangers and severely mishandled his career. Here he is with the Indians. This might have been his last card. I don't know if he has a card in 1980 or not. Definitely towards the end of his career, though. Great TTM signer, by the way. Next we have Paul Hartzell. Don Kessinger. White Sox team. Butch Weiniger. Joe Wallace. This is a nice card. This is a second year, might be third year. Pete Vukovich. He was a nice player, but most people probably know him as Clu Haywood in the original Major League. He was the big power hitter on that team. Hey, how's your wife and my kid? Yeah, that was Pete Vukovich. Didn't actually find out until probably 5 years after that movie came out that was a former Major League Baseball player. Next we have Charlie Moore. Willie Wilson was a nice player. Had to be early in his career. Yeah, that might be a rookie card, but maybe not. Probably not. All right, so this is the lot of cards that I picked up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The 1979 set has a sort of a subset within the set called All-Time Record Holders. And I only had one card from that set. So I ended up picking up a lot. I ended up getting a duplicate of the one that I did have, which was this one. This is kind of out of order, but this was the one that I had, so I did get a second one of these in the lot. This is a all-time home run, or all-time record holders ERA with Dutch Leonard for the season and Walter Johnson for the career. Of course, who doesn't like Walter Johnson? But yeah, there's some great names on these, so I'll go ahead and show these in order. I think there's 2 or 3 that I'm still missing, but we got the all-time record holder for hits, George Sisler in a season, and career Ty Cobb. So yeah, this is an affordable way for you to get some of the legends of the game for sure. Here we go with home runs, Roger Maris, and career Hank Aaron. I mean, I guess I could be showing you the backs of these. There's the first one that I showed. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, that was the Sisler Cobb. And there's the Maris Aaron. Hopefully y'all can see that. All right, next, this is another great card. This is for batting average, Rogers Hornsby. I think that was 421 or something. It's like an absurd number. Ty Cobb for the career. All right, another great one. This is Wins, Jack Chesbro, Cy Young. Another great one. Strikeouts, Nolan Ryan in his season, and then career Walter Johnson, of course. Nolan Ryan would be over there now as well. And the one that I showed earlier, Dutch Leonard, Walter Johnson for ERA. Yeah, but talk about some legends of the game, man. Ty Cobb, George Sisler, Hank Aaron. Maris isn't in the Hall of Fame, but definitely a legend. Ty Cobb again, Hornsby, Chesbro, Cy Young, Nolan Ryan, Walter Johnson, Dutch Leonard, Walter Johnson. Just legends. This is a great subset for sure. All right, so let me move these out of the way. I got one more stack. And then we will call it a day. I know tomorrow's Mother's Day, and there's going to be a lot of people going to bed early tonight because they're going to be spending time with their mothers tomorrow. So this is probably a little bit longer than I would have liked, but I'm going to try to get through these as quickly as possible. Take us to basically card number 500 from my starter set. We got Dick Ruthven. And happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Ken Griffey, Sr. Doug DeCinces. Bob Montgomery. Angels team card with Jim Fergosi. Rick Manning. I have this card autographed. Chris Spire. I think he does TTMing. I might have nicked that corner. It's the third time. I really need to fire myself. Andy Replogle. Replogle. Maybe I'm saying that wrong. Bobby Valentine. Great TTM signer. Former Ranger manager. Former Met manager. John Uria. Glenn Borgman. Dave Heverlow. Larry Bittner. Ken Clay. Gene Tennis, really nice player. I tried to win his autograph last week, did not successfully win it. Rick Williams. Horace Speed. Frank White was a nice player. Rusty Staub, another nice player. Lee Lacy. Next we have Doyle Alexander, or the guy that was traded for John Smoltz. Another great TTM signer, Bruce Boakty. Aurelio Lopez. Steve Henderson. Another great TTM signer, Jim Lonborg. I think Manny Sanguian signs. He might charge, but I think he signs. Moose Haas. Bombo Rivera. Dave Concepcion. Great player. Whitey Herzog, Hall of Famer, rest in peace, recently passed away. Royals team. Jerry Morales. Chris Knapp. Lenny Randall. I love all this guy's cards. Bill the Spaceman Lee. Fantastic TTM signer. But yeah, a treasure, a real treasure, Bill Lee. Chuck Baker. Jim Essien. Sid Monge. Another really nice player, Greg Nettles. I remember the error card. What was it? 81 Fleer or something. It was Craig Nettles. I remember that was a big card back then. I don't know if it is now or not anymore, but I remember it being a big deal in the 80s anyway. Jim Barr. Otto Velez. Steve Comer. Joe Nolan. Reggie Smith, great player. Now that Joe Nolan, we have the whiteout again. That almost looks like it had like some sort of like sticker on it or something. Mark Littell. See, now this is interesting. I just noticed this. Now we saw the White Sox team card with Don Kessinger earlier, and he actually has a solo card in the set as well. So maybe he was a player manager, would be my guess, which is kind of interesting and pretty cool. But he's got a couple issues in that set. Stan Bonson. Lance Parrish. I believe this is a second year Lance Parrish. Yeah, I think his rookie's in 78 on the second Dale Murphy card. So that's probably a second-year Lance Parrish. Gary Maddox, another nice player. Joaquin Andujar was a pretty good pitcher. Just a few more. Craig Kusick. We just broke an hour and a half, but I will be winding this down relatively soon. Dave Roberts. Another Dave Roberts. There's quite a few Dave Roberts, apparently. Dan Dreesen. Nice player. Tom Paquette. Juan Beniquez. Roger Craig and the Padres team. Fred Lynn. Really nice player. Former Rookie of the Year and MVP in the same season. Skip Lockwood. Craig Reynolds. That felt like there was a wax stain on it. Yeah, you can feel it on the card. Rick Waits. Bucky Dent. Bucky effing Dent. Former Ranger. Bob Nepper. Miguel Delone. Bob Ochinko. Larry Cox. Al Cowens. Tippy Martinez. Larry Christensen. Hall of Famer Tony Perez. Probably need to put that in a sleeve. Barry Bunnell. Glenn Abbott. And the last card I'll be showing today, Rich Childs. So hopefully you have enjoyed this group of the 1979 Top Starter set. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video tonight. Again, I want to thank Guru for the great cards and the awesome generosity. Just a fantastic card community member. Definitely go check out his channel. And once again, I'd like to wish all the mothers out there a very, very happy Mother's Day. And hopefully everybody gets to spend some time with their family over the weekend. But until next week, I got a Mavericks game to watch. Got the Stars to watch tonight. Going to be watching some great playoff action. Really looking forward to it. But until next week, thanks for watching the video, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.